Good afternoon to one and all. Welcome to the session. In the previous session, we have discussed about basic structure of the cell. Before entering into our topic, I would like to ask some questions. What are the basic parts of the cell? Children, see here the basic parts of the cell. One is cell membrane, cytoplasm and nucleus. Yes. What are the parts embedded in the cytoplasm? As you can see here, these are the parts embedded in the cytoplasm. What are these parts? Yes, these are called as cell organelles. The parts which are embedded in the cytoplasm called as cell organelles. Today our topic is cell organelles. In this session, we will discuss about cell organelles and their functions. Before going to that, watch these slides, children. In the previous session, we have discussed about the human cheek cells and onion peel cells. If you notice these cells, each cell has a dense spherical body. What is that part? Yes, you are right, that part is nucleus. Now we will discuss about nucleus. Nucleus was discovered by Robert Brown in 1831. He observed arched epidermal cells and found nucleus. Nucleus is the one of the most important component of the cell. It is also considered as brain of the cell. Brain of the cell, and also called as control room of the cell. Control room of the cell. Why is nucleus considered as brain of the cell? As you know, our brain controls and regulates our organ systems and their functions in our body. As like our brain, nucleus also controls and regulates the metabolic activities which are conducted by the new cell organelles. That's why it is considered as brain of the cell. Yes, on the basis of number of nucleus in the cells, cells are divided into three types. How many types? Three types. Cells are divided into three types on the basis of nucleus number. One is uninucleus, uninucleated cells. Second one is binucleated cells. Third one is multinucleated cells. Third one is multinucleated cells. Children, you can see here, this is amoeba. It has only one nucleus. That's why it is called as uninucleated. Uninucleated means the cell with only one nucleus, called as uninucleated. Binucleated means the cell has two nuclei. Here you can see the paramecium consists here micronucleus and macronucleus. Two nuclei are present. That's why this cell is considered as binucleated. If you see the skeleton muscle cell, each cell has more nuclei. Each cell has more nuclei. That's why that one is called as multinucleated. Hence, on the basis of cell number, cells are divided, nucleus number, cells are divided into three types. One is uninucleated cell, binucleated cell and multinucleated cell. Let us go to discuss about nucleus structure. If you see the nucleus structure, see here, nucleus contain four important parts. Yeah, nuclear structure consists four important what? One is nuclear membrane and nucleoplasm, nucleolus, genetic material, otherwise called as chromosomes. Children, here you can see this is the model of nucleus. This outer layer considered as nuclear membrane. Next, this dense fluid like structure, this one is called as nucleoplasm. This is a dense spherical body, it is called as nucleolus. Here you can observe fiber like structures, these are called as genetic material, also called as chromatin fibers. Let us discuss about each part. If we take nuclear membrane, now let us discuss about nuclear membrane. Nuclear membrane. So, nucleus surrounded by double layered envelope. This double layer envelope, outer envelope is called as outer nuclear member, and inner layer is called as, this one is outer nuclear membrane. This one is inner nuclear membrane. This one is called as, the space between the two nuclear membranes called as perinuclear space. Perinuclear space. Actually, the nuclear membrane has pores on it. Nuclear membrane has pores on it. These pores are called as nuclear pores. These are the pores. These pores are called as nuclear pores. These are the nuclear pore. This is nuclear pore. These nuclear pores useful to exchange of the material between the cytoplasm and nucleoplasm. Some of the materials may enter into the nucleoplasm and some of the materials go out from the nucleoplasm to cytoplasm. That is why this is a function of nuclear pore. Let us go to nucleoplasm. Inside of the nucleus there is a dense liquid like structure. The dense liquid like structure is called as nucleoplasm. It consists of several proteins and enzymes. The proteins such as glycoproteins, ribonucleoproteins, as well as enzymes, DNA polymerase and RNA polymerase, which are useful to synthesis of the DNA and RNA. This is about the nucleoplasm. If you see the dense spherical part inside of the nucleus, this dense spherical part is called as nucleolus. Singular is nucleolus, plural is nucleoli. This is nucleolus. This is also considered as factories of ribosomes, because of ribosomes synthesized in the nucleolus and transferred to the cytoplasm. That is why they are considered as factories of ribosomes. Next one, last one in this structure, the nucleoplasm consists a network of dark colored fibers called as genetic material. This one called as genetic material. They also called as chromatin fibers. The dark colored structures as like fibers which are present in nucleoplasm, that one is called as chromatin fibers. They also called as chromosomes. If you see here, during the cell division, the chromatin fibers means it is long and thin. During the cell division, it condensed into short and thick. That structure is called as chromosome. This one is called as chromatin fiber. Now this one is called as chromosome. Actually, chromosome made up of DNA and histone proteins. Chromosome made up of DNA plus histone protein. Histone protein. Actually, chromosome consists the basic hereditary units. The basic hereditary units called as genes. What are genes? The basic hereditary units which are present in the chromosome called as genes. These genes are responsible for transfer the genetic characters from one generation to another generation. That means parent to progeny. You know that one, we got characters from our parents. How can we get the characters? When the genes transfer from our parents to us, then we get the characters. By this process, the genes are basic units to transfer the characters from parent to progeny. So this is about the nucleus structure. Let us go to discuss about next topic, that one is DNA structure. You can see here, DNA means deoxyribonucleic acid. What is mean by DNA? DNA means deoxyribonucleic acid. Deoxyribonucleic acid. It is one type of nucleic acid. It acts as genetic material in most of the organisms. Actually, the DNA made up of two strands. DNA consists two strands, each strand made up of nucleotide. Each strand consists of nucleotides. What is meant by nucleotide? Nucleotide means one phosphate, one sugar. Deoxyribosugar is present in the DNA, ribosugar present in the RNA, and nitrogenous base. Actually, nitrogenous base are four types in the DNA. They are adenine, guanine, thymine, cytosine. So these are the four type of nitrogenous bases present in the DNA. Instead of thymine in the RNA, uracil is present. Here adenine always bonded with thymine by the two hydrogen bonds. Guanine always bonded with cytosine with three hydrogen bonds. Now let us see the structure of DNA. Here these are the two strands. These two strands made up of nucleotides. Here you take phosphorus, then after sugar. Now nitrogen base, one nitrogen base. You may take any one. Now phosphorus, sugar, any nitrogen base. Now phosphorus, sugar, any nitrogen base. Phosphorus, sugar, any nitrogen base. Now we know that one adenine always bond with thymine by two hydrogen bonds. Thymine always bond with adenine. Adenine also bond with thymine. Guanine always bond with cytosine. In the next opposite strand, actually the same pattern. Phosphorus, sugar, then this bonded with this. Phosphorus, sugar, then after phosphorus, sugar. Here this is the one strand and this one is the another strand. These two strands are bonded together by the hydrogen bond through the nitrogen base pairs, as like this. Actually that look like this one, ladder like structure. You see here. Here you can see that one phosphate, sugar, nitrogen base. Phosphate, sugar, nitrogen base. One phosphate, sugar, nitrogen base is considered as nucleotide. These are all the nucleotides. This one called as polynucleotide chain. This one also polynucleotide chain. Here, when we twist in the form of spring, that one is called as double helix structure. Double helix structure, as like this. You can see here. This is the DNA structure. Double helix structure. DNA has two strands. These strands look like spring like structure. That's when this one is called as double helix structure. This one discovered by Watson and Crick in 1953. Double helix structure discovered by Watson and Crick in 1953. Here this is if any nitrogen bases sequence changes, automatically what happened that cause to gene disorders. Actually our character determined by the sequence of these nitrogen bases. If any changes occur in the nitrogen base sequence, it leads to the gene defects. That one also called as gene damage. So this is about the DNA structure. Let us go to next topic. On the basis of nucleus organization, the cells are divided into two types. On the basis of nucleus organization, the cells are divided into two types. First one is prokaryotic cell. Prokaryotic cell. Here pro means primitive. Pro means primitive and karyon means nucleus. That means primitive nucleus. What is meant by primitive nucleus? The cells do not have nuclear membrane around the nuclear material. That's one. Cells are called as prokaryotic cells. For example, if you see here, this is a model of prokaryotic cell. Here this is the bacteria cell. It has nuclear material. It has nuclear material, but this nuclear material not bounded by the any nucleus membrane or nuclear membrane. That's why that cells do not have nuclear membrane around the nuclear material is called as prokaryotic cells. The bacteria is one of the example for prokaryotic cell. If you see the bacteria structure, it contains capsule, cell wall, then after cell membrane. This one is cytoplasm. It contains only nuclear material. This nuclear material is called as nucleide. The DNA which one present in the prokaryotic cells called as nucleide. Then after ribosomes and this one mesosomes. These are the mesosomes. So this is the structure of prokaryotic cell. Prokaryotic cell means the cells do not contain any definite nucleus or nuclear membrane around the nuclear material. That one is called as prokaryotic cell. Examples are bacteria. You know that one. Actually, a bacteria play an important role in our daily life. You see here, some of the bacteria are useful to us, some of the bacteria harmful to us. If you see here, useful bacteria used in curd preparation, you know that one. Lactobacillus is present in the curd. It is used to prepare curd. You know that one. Actually, we are using nowadays, we are using several antibiotics. That antibiotics also preparing from bacteria. And decaying process. Here decaying process means, you know that one, the garbage accumulate around us, that one decayed by the some microorganisms. The microorganisms, bacteria also one of the part in the decaying process. By this process, the bacteria use in our daily life. As well as harmful effects also are there. They cause diseases in the plants and animals and human beings. If you see here, there is citrus canker disease caused by bacteria in lemon. Anthrax caused by bacteria in cow. Okay, and leprosy, you know that one, it caused by the bacteria in the human beings. That's why the bacteria play an important role in our daily life. Let us go to next topic, the eukaryotic cell. What is meant by eukaryotic cell? Eukaryotic cell, U means true, karyon means cell, true cell. The true cell means, if you see this one, actually this is the plant cell model. This plant cell model, the cell with well organized nucleus, the cell with well organized nucleus. You see here, this is a nucleus, this is a nuclear material, inside of that one nuclear material, the nuclear material surrounded by the nuclear membrane. That means the definite nuclear membrane is present in that cell. That cells are called as eukaryotic cells. Examples are plant cell and animal cell. Examples are plant cell and animal cell. Now let us go to next topic, that is differences between the prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells. You know that one. You see here the list of the prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic differences. If you see there, nuclear membrane is absent in the prokaryotic cells. Nuclear membrane is present in the eukaryotic cells. 70S ribosomes are present in the prokaryotic cells, 80S ribosomes present in the eukaryotic cells. We will discuss about 70S and 80S in the ribosome cell organelles. Cell organelles are absent except ribosomes. prokaryotic cell has only ribosomes, all the cell organelles are absent. Cell organelles are present, all the cell organelles. Just I have, okay, na, you have seen the model of plant cell, all cell organelles are present in that one. Examples for prokaryotic cell, bacteria cell and cyanobacteria cell. It is also otherwise called as blue-green algae. And eukaryotic cell examples are plant cell and animal cell. So these are the differences between the eukaryotic cell and prokaryotic cell. Children, let us go to next topic. Actually, you know that one, several life processes occur in our body. Several life processes occur in our body. For that life process, we needed energy. Actually, how does energy is produced in our body? Yes, by the oxidation of food material. Where does it take place? Yes, that cell organelle is mitochondria. Now we will discuss about mitochondria. Actually, mitochondria discovered by Kollikar and named by Benda. The mitochondria may be present in different shapes. Actually, they may be spherical shape, oval shape, or cylindrical shape. They may be present in cylindrical shape also. Actually, mitochondria are about 2 to 8 micrometers long and 0.5 micrometers wide. There are 100 to 150 mitochondria in each cell. 100 to 150 mitochondria in each cell. If you see the structure of mitochondria, the mitochondria bounded by two membrane envelope. This is the outer membrane. Next, this one inner membrane thrown into several folds. This one is called as outer membrane. This one is called as inner membrane. The space between the outer membrane and inner membrane is called as perimitochondrial space. Perimitochondrial space. Then after a liquid like structure present inside of that one is called as matrix. This one is called as matrix. Actually, in the matrix there is one small DNA and 70s ribosomes. 70s ribosomes are present. The inner membrane thrown into folds, that folds are called as cristae. They extend into the matrix. So this is the structure of mitochondria. You can see this model. So this is the outer membrane. This one is inner membrane thrown into folds. These folds are called as cristae. Next, the red part is called as matrix. Here you can see DNA and these are the 70s ribosomes. The matrix contains several respiratory enzymes as well, which are participate in the aerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration. Here you can see that one. This one is called as perimitochondrial space between the outer membrane and inner membrane. So this is the structure of mitochondria. What is the function of mitochondria? The function of mitochondria. Actually, this mitochondria concerned to the oxidation of food material. Function of mitochondria. Oxidation of food material. Oxidation of food material. You know that one. The oxidation of food material occurs in the mitochondria mitochondria, and then after it produce energy in the form of ATP. ATP means adenosine triphosphate. Adenosine triphosphate. 1 ATP is equals to 7.2 kilocalories energy. Otherwise 7,200 kilocalories energy. As you know children, if one molecule of glucose C6H12O6 oxidized in the mitochondria, it can produce 38 ATPs energy. Here 1 ATP is equals to 7.2 kilocalories energy. Then 38 ATPs are equal to how many kilocalories energy? How many kilocalories energy? Now we can calculate that one. 38 into 7.2. Here 2 8 ja 16. Actually 3 2 ja 6 7 plus 1 7. 7 8 ja 56. 7 3 ja 21 5 26. Here 6 7 plus 6 equal 13 and 7 2 273.6 kilocalories energy is produced by the one molecule of glucose oxidation. When we write the aerobic respiration equation, you see here C6H12O6 plus 6 O2 gives rise 6 CO2 plus 6 H2O plus 686 kilocalories energy. That means one molecule of glucose can produce the 686 kilocalories energy. But here ATP energy is 273.6 only. What about the remaining energy? That energy is produced in the form of heat that is useful to maintain our body, maintain to constant temperature, and some amount of temperature escape to outside as well. So that is the 60% of the energy is produced in the form of heat and 40% of the energy is produced in the form of ATP. So by this process energy is produced in the mitochondria. Actually this mitochondria function we can compare with the power stations. Power stations means you know that one, there are several type of power stations. Thermal power station, wind power station, solar power station, and these are all things. They produce electricity or current and they supply to our home. That one utilized for several operate to several appliances, home appliances. Here mitochondria also produce energy and that one provided to conduct the metabolic activities in our body. That's why the mitochondria considered as powerhouse of the cell. So why is mitochondria considered as power of the cell? It produce energy and store the energy and also provide energy for the metabolic activities. That's why it one considered as powerhouse of the cell. So this is about the mitochondria. Let us go to next cell organelle. Yes, endoplasmic reticulum. Next cell organelle is endoplasmic reticulum. Actually you know that one endoplasmic reticulum means this one discovered by the K.R. Porter in 1953. If you see the cell model here, a network of membrane extending from the nucleus membrane to this one is cell membrane. So this is the network of membrane which one extending from the nucleus membrane to plasma membrane called as endoplasmic reticulum. Here endoplasmic reticulum is two type. One is the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, this one is rough endoplasmic reticulum. The smooth endoplasmic reticulum means it does not contain any granules on their surface. That's why it looks like smooth. Hence it is called as smooth endoplasmic reticulum. If you see this one, actually you can observe some granules are present on the surface of the endoplasmic reticulum. That's why it called as rough endoplasmic reticulum. how many type of endoplasmic reticulums are there? One is the smooth endoplasmic reticulum and rough endoplasmic reticulum. Here ribosomes are absent on the surface of that one. Here ribosomes are present. Now if you come to the function of the, what are the functions of endoplasmic reticulum? Number one, if you take the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, it synthesizes the lipids. Smooth endoplasmic reticulum synthesize lipids. If you take the rough endoplasmic reticulum, they synthesize proteins. Next, it also acts as network of what is that one? Supportive framework for the cell. You know that one, actually when we constructing a house, we use the iron rods in the pillars and slab. Why do we use them? For the support. As like that one in the cell, this endoplasmic reticulum act as supportive framework inside of the cell, as well as it also transports substances from one region to another region within the cytoplasm. They transport the substances from one region to another region within the cytoplasm. So that is also one of the function of endoplasmic reticulum. Here, what are the functions of endoplasmic reticulum? One is lipid synthesis, second one is protein synthesis, third one is supportive, it acts as supportive framework, it also transports materials within the cytoplasm. Let us go to next topic, next cell organelle, that is Golgi body. Actually Golgi body discovered by Camillo Golgi in 1898. Golgi body, it is also called as Golgi apparatus. Here you can see here, it contains a group of halotubular structures with membranous surrounding and is associated with small vacuoles and vessels. Here. So this is the structure of Golgi body. You can see here in this. Actually the Golgi body always locates near to the nucleus. Next, now let us discuss about functions of Golgi body. Functions. What are the functions of Golgi body? Here it involves in the secretion of hormones and enzymes. You know that one, several hormones and enzymes are releasing in our body. These enzymes and hormones are produced by the Golgi apparatus. If you take the plant cell, in the plant cell, cell wall is produced. What are the cell wall materials? Here cellulose, hemicellulose. These are also produced by Golgi apparatus. Cellulose and hemicellulose. So these are the cell wall materials. These cell wall materials are produced by Golgi apparatus, as well as cell plate. Actually this is produced while cell division is occurring in the plant cell. Cell plate also produced from that one. And primary lysosomes arise from the Golgi apparatus. Lysosomes also producing from the Golgi apparatus. These are the functions of the Golgi apparatus. Let us go to next topic. Yes, ribosomes. So here ribosomes discovered by George Palade in 1955. Who discovered the ribosomes? George Palade in 1955. Ribosomes. So these ribosomes also called as Palade granules because of he discovered the ribosomes, and also called as universal cell organelles. They also called as universal cell organelles, and also called as primitive cell organelles. Primitive cell organelles. Why are ribosomes considered as universal cell organelles? These are present in eukaryotic cell and prokaryotic cell. These are present in eukaryotic cell and prokaryotic cell. That's why they are called as universal cell organelles. No one cell organelles present in the both cells, prokaryotes and eukaryotes. That's why these are present in the all cells on the earth. That's why they are called as universal cell organelle or primitive cell organelle. And these are also called as smallest cell organelle. What are the smallest cell organelle? Sorry, cell organelles? As ribosomes are the smallest cell organelles. And they synthesized, are they prepared by RNA and proteins. Actually, they are produced in the nucleolus and transferred to the cytoplasm. In the cytoplasm, they may be present in the cytoplasm, scattered in the cytoplasm as like this. These are the ribosomes. They may be scattered in the cytoplasm or attached to the endoplasmic reticulum. Actually, ribosomes are two types. One is the 80S ribosomes and 70S ribosomes. So what is meant by S here? S means actually Svedberg unit. Svedberg means this is a 1 Svedberg is equal to 10 to the power of minus 13 seconds. It is used to measure the sedimentation coefficient. So here 80S ribosome consists 2 units and 70S ribosome also consists 2 units. Here you can see this is the ribosome structure. This is a ribosome structure. This is the small unit and this one is big unit. Here you can see other parts. This one is the small unit. This one is big unit. This small unit and this one is big unit. Here you can see mRNA. This one is tRNA and this one is polypeptide chain. These are ribosome model. That may be 80S, there are 70S. If you take that one 80S, it consists 2 subunits. One is 60S plus 40S. Here 70S consists 2 subunits. One is 50S plus 30S. You may get confused, what is that one? 60 plus 40 is equals to 100. But here we decrease to 80S because of sedimentation coefficient. Due to the sedimentation coefficient, it is reduced to 80S. 60 plus 40S reduced to 80S. That's here also same 50 plus 30 70S. So by this process, what is the function of ribosomes? These ribosomes considered as protein factories because of their synthesis proteins. Function, what is the function of the proteins? Protein synthesis. Protein synthesis. So this is about the ribosomes. Let us go to next topic, lysosomes. Lysosomes are discovered by Christian de Duve in 1955. Lysosomes are discovered by Christian de Duve in 1955. Lysosomes. These are the spherical single membrane bonded spherical structures. Single membrane bonded spherical structures as like this. If you imagine this one, this is a lysosome surrounded by single membrane bonded structure. Here if you take that one, this is a lysosome. This totally filled with digestive enzymes. This one totally filled with digestive enzymes. Such as this here several enzymes are present in that one. That may be lipases or amylases. That may be nucleases or proteases. The proteases can digest the proteins, nucleases can digest the nucleic acids, amylase can digest the starch or carbohydrate, lipases can digest the lipids or fats. So what is the function of lysosomes? Main function is intracellular digestion. Intracellular digestion. What is meant by intracellular digestion? Digestion is two type. One is the intracellular digestion, extracellular digestion. If the digestion occurs inside of the cell, it is called as intracellular digestion. Extracellular digestion means if the digestion occurs outside of the cell, that is called as extracellular digestion. For example, if you take in our alimentary canal, is it intracellular or extracellular? In the in the alimentary canal, the digestion is extracellular because of it occurs outside of the cell. But in the cell, sometimes what happened, if any material, if any energy is not available to the cell, these lysosomes produce energy and digest the proteins and such as starch. These are all things and give the energy to the cell. So that's why that is the main function. What is that one? Intracellular digestion. Then after, another one is, these are also called, considered as suicidal bags of the cell. Suicidal bags of the cell. Why is lysosome considered as suicidal bags of the cell? For what is meant by suicide actually here? Intentionally killing of oneself is called as suicide. You might listen that one, suicide. Here what happened? Suicidal. Why is lysosomes considered as suicidal bags of the cell? When cell threats or when cell affected with disease, these lysosome burst itself and release the digestive enzymes into the cytoplasm and digest the all cell organelles. By this process, the cell dead itself. So that's why it is called as suicidal bags of the cell. Bags of the cell. Let us go to next cell organelle. Vacuole. These vacuoles are discovered by Anton van Leeuwenhoek. Vacuoles. These are the non-cytoplasmic sac-like structures. Non-cytoplasmic sac-like structures, they bounded by single membrane. This single membrane is considered as tonoplast. It was also called as vacuolar membrane. Here inside of that one, a dilute liquid-like structure. Is present. That one is called as tonoplasm. That one also called as cell sap or vacuole sap. Actually, you know that one, when we studied about the difference between the cell organ, so what is that one, animal cell and plant cell, we studied that one. Big vacuoles are present in the plant cell or small vacuoles present in the animal cell, or sometimes the vacuoles are absent in the animal cell. So what is the function of this vacuole? Actually the vacuole store, actually what is the composition of the cell sap? Before going to that one, we will discuss about the cell sap composition. So actually cell sap consists more amount of water and as well as metabolic byproducts and some excretions and as well as waste material. Sometimes they also store the pigments such as anthocyanin. Anthocyanin pigments also present. These are responsible for sometimes actually blue color and pink color and that also violet color. These are the anthocyanins are responsible for these colors. So this is the composition of the cell sap. Then after, what is the function of vacuole? As you know, animals have definite excretory organs to rid of the waste material, but the plants do not have any. The plants do not have any excretory organs. How they can manage here? So they store the waste materials in the vacuole. So that is the main function of the vacuole. So let us go to next. Let us go to next. This one is centrosome. You know that one. Centrosomes are found in only animal cell but not present in plant cells. Centrosome consists centrioles, that one produce the spindle fibers during the cell division. They participating in the cell division. As you know that one, spindle fibers split the chromosomes and pull to the polar sides. So this is the function of the centrosomes. Next topic is plastids. Very important cell organelles. These are the plastids. Blue. Plastids. Actually these plastids, you know that one, actually the plant parts are different colors or in different colors. That may be red color, pink color, orange color, whatever it may be. What are the reasons for that one? These are the plastids are the reasons for that one. Actually basically plastids are three types, divided into three types. One is the leucoplastids and chromoplastids. Next one is chloroplastids. If you take the leucoplastids, leuco means actually white color. These are in white color. The main function is of storage of food, store the food material. On the basis of the stored food material, the leucoplast divided into three types. One is the amyloplast. Second one is the alluroplast. Third one is elaioplast. Actually amyloplast, what are amyloplasts? Actually they store the starch. Starch storing leucoplastids are called as amyloplast. Starch storing leucoplasts are called as amyloplast. They store alluroplast. Alluroplast means they store proteins. Protein storing leucoplastids are called as alluroplast. Elaioplast means oil and fat. Oil storing leucoplastids are called as elaioplast. You can see here example potato, it is in white color. If you see here proteins, actually pulses mostly present in seeds. Oils you may take groundnut. Here you can see these are, if you see the potato, it contains amyloplastids. If you see the groundnut, they contain elaioplastids. Here you can see the pulses, it store proteins. So it contains alluroplastids or proteinoplastids. So these are about leucoplastids. Now we will discuss about chromoplastids. Chromoplastids are responsible for colors. You know that one, actually fruits and flowers are present in different colors. These are responsible for colors in the fruits and flowers. Actually mostly it contains the carotenoids. The carotenoids are two types. One is the carotene, second one is xanthophyll. Xanthophyll is responsible for yellow color carotene is responsible for red color or orange? If you take that one, red color, if you take the tomato, it is in red color because of lycopene pigment is present. If you take the carrot, it is in orange color due to the beta carotene. If you take the any flower yellow color, that contain the xanthophyll. You can see here, these are red in color, these are orange in color, the carrot is in orange color and tomato is in red color, and these are the yellow color. This one contain xanthophyll, the red color contain, and orange red color contain carotene. So these are the chromoplastids which are responsible for colors in the different part of the plants. Mostly they are present in, what is that one, flowers and fruits. So let us go to most important cell organelle, that one is chloroplast. Can you imagine our life without the chloroplast on the surface of the earth? We can't imagine, because of it provides food for us by the photosynthesis, through the photosynthesis process, as well as it provides sustainable, life sustainable gas, that is oxygen, by the photosynthesis process. Here, if you take the chloroplast, actually you know that one actually leaves are in green color. Why are leaves in green color? Mostly they have chloroplast. In that chloroplast, one pigment, rich amount of pigment, one is the chlorophyll pigment is present. Chlorophyll pigment is present, that's why they are in green color. If you see the structure of chloroplast, they may be present in spherical shape or disc shape or oval shape. Several shapes are present in the chloroplast in developed cells, developed plants. If you take the structure of chloroplast, it bounded by two membranes, the outer membrane and inner membrane here. Then after, this one is outer membrane, this one is called as inner membrane. Next, the space between the two membranes called as periplastidial space, periplastidial space. Next, inside of that one actually liquid like structure is there, that one is called as stroma. This one is called as stroma. Here the stroma contains 70S ribosomes as like this, and it also contains DNA. That's why they are called as self autonomous cell organelles. They can divide themselves, that's why they are called as self autonomous cell organelles. DNA also present, and photosynthetic enzymes are present in that one. As well as each cell, there are flattened membranous structures, they are called as thylakoid. The thylakoids are arranged in the form of stack, that one is called as granum, this one is called as granum. Each grana connect to other thylakoid membrane, that one is called as stroma thylakoid. Here you can see number of pigments locate in the thylakoid, that one is called as photosystem. There are two type of photosystems, one is the photosystem 1, another one is the photosystem 2. Here you can see the model of chloroplast here. This one is outer membrane, this one is inner membrane. If you see the inner side structure of that chloroplast, you see here, this is the liquid like structure is called as stroma, and here you can see the stack of thylakoids. Each thylakoid, here the thylakoids arrange one over the other as like this. Each one is called as thylakoid here. These are the, a stack of thylakoid is called as granum, plural is grana. You can see here, two granum connect with the one membrane like structure, this one is called as stroma thylakoid. So this is the structure of or model of chloroplast. So what is the main function of chloroplast here? The main function of the chloroplast is photosynthesis. Photosynthesis. See, just a minute. So this is about the chloroplast structure. Here summary. Nucleus. So far we discussed about the nucleus, dense spherical structure in the center of cytoplasm called as nucleus. Mitochondria is called as powerhouse of the cell. Lysosomes considered as suicidal bags of the cell. Ribosomes are protein and protein factories. Here, children, note down this project work. Make a list of diseases that occur due to the malfunctioning of cellular bodies. And second one is prepare a table that consists of serial number and cell organelles and function. So this is a social awareness topic. Gutka packs a killer punch for your DNA, killer punch for your DNA. Children, as you know, many of the people are habituated to chewing the gutka. It is one of the most dangerous addiction of human beings. As you know, it contains several harmful chemicals along with carcinogens which can cause cancer and other side effects or health effects. Long usage of tobacco or gutka can cause genetic disorder or gene damage. Such defects may get passed on to future generation. Hence, I request you to please avoid such type of unhealthy habits and be healthy. Here, I am thankful to our secretary sir and Gnanadiksha team for giving this opportunity to me, and I am also thankful to the TSAT team, and thank you one and all.